Would a Labour government really turn Britain into a dumping ground for Hamas-sympathising so-called refugees from Gaza? Well, Labour MP Sam Tarry, who also goes by the names Useful Idiot and Mr Naivety, is saying that we should be welcoming in the Palestinians.
It was just 2 years ago the government swiftly introduced the Ukraine Family Scheme, and as part of that it meant British citizens and permanent residents were able to sponsor a wide range of family members for visas. Surely those things that could be brought forward would be an immediate way for all of us, including myself, including the Honourable Member for Hampstead Kilburn, and many others have given specific cases of individual Palestinians who have family both in the West Bank and indeed, of course, in Gaza.
Yeah, but it didn't end there. He went on.
Nobody should be having to pay tens of thousands of pounds to get across the border at Rafah. We should be able to put in place things through our immigration system. They can actually make those applications and do so in a way that's obviously right for our country, but of course allows those people to leave and leave quickly and to arrive on our shores and to safe haven as quickly as possible.
Well, this led to Lee Anderson saying that Labour would impose a Homes for Hamas scheme. Now, Lee was joking, but we have actually already done that. Mohammed Qasem Sawala was one of Hamas's leading fundraisers and their head of operations in the West Bank, and it turns out he was living in a council house that he bought in Barnet, the most densely populated Jewish part of Britain, by the way. Anyway, now, of course, not all people from Palestine support Hamas. And it would really help if there was some evidence, though, to show that bringing people over from Gaza to Britain is a bad idea and that maybe they actually might support Hamas. Oh, yeah, of course. No, there is actually. Do you remember the disgusting pro-Palestine protester that wore a paraglider poster on her back immediately after the October 7th massacre? Well, it turned out that she's called Hiba Al-Hayek, and she was granted refugee status in the UK after claiming that her life would be in danger if she returned to Gaza because of her family's criticism of Hamas. Shall we have a little look at why some Muslim countries haven't wanted to accept Gazan refugees? The Egyptian leader is worried that it might lead to militants being imported and that they then attack Israel from Egypt and help to start a world war. He warned it would wreck peace in the region. Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just import them over to Britain instead, shall we? It worked out really well for the people of Denmark. Denmark took in 321 Palestinian refugees in 1992. By 2019, 64% of them have been convicted of a crime, including 34% of their children too. Very large portion of them were also on welfare. Labour have got form for trying to draw parallels between the Russian invasion of Ukraine and what's going on in Gaza. A Labour MP, Andy Slaughter, no pun intended, called for us to launch a Ukrainian-style refugee system for Palestinians, and now Sam Tarry has done just the same. To clarify, that would be like Russians who celebrated Russia's invasion of Ukraine being granted asylum and refugee status here in Britain because Ukraine had decided to fight back. The other key difference is that most of the Ukrainian refugees are women and children and would most likely want to go back one day. There were celebrations on the streets of Gaza as news of the unrelenting massacre, rape and baby murder was breaking about October the 7th. In fact, there were celebrations over here as well, weren't there? Do we really want to add to that? OK, we know people like Humza Yousaf, they're right in favour of it. He wanted to make Scotland a state of sanctuary for the Gazans. His wife's family were trapped over there at the time. He's also the kind of guy who went on a family holiday to Qatar, where Hamas's terrorist leaders are housed, not long after the October 7th attack. You know who else quite enjoyed Qatar? Gary Lineker. Yeah, I bet he'd be in favour of this Gaza resettlement programme. But should we take advice from somebody who referred to October the 7th as
constant images of children losing their lives day in, day out? Now, obviously, we all know what, October 7th happened and, the Hamas thing, but the
Hamas thing. Yeah, just that was that Hamas thing. Yeah. Do you think he minimises the 9/11 attacks to that New York plane thing? Maybe only somebody who works at the BBC could be that spectacularly naive, unless they are a Labour politician, of course. Talking of the BBC, they've done massive amounts of PR for the migrant crisis in the past, most notably doing a special on the Bedreddin brothers on Newsnight, who ended up being part of a grooming gang in Newcastle. How long before we end up with BBC's Homes Under the Hamas? Now, I repeat that obviously not all Palestinians sympathise with Hamas, but a fair few do. And so it would be complete and utter madness to have a Gaza refugee scheme right here in Britain. In my opinion, only an idiot, a massive anti-Semite, or someone with votes to win in a Muslim-dominated political seat would think that it was a good idea. But let's get